The Galactic Council announced the end of Earth in a calm, cold voice. Their message spread across the stars in many languages. Earth was marked extinct. The reason was listed as a total planetary collapse after a massive event. Long-range scans showed broken cities, burned land, and no signs of movement. To the galaxy, Earth was finished. On a quiet human ship far from any known trade path, James stood in the command room and listened to the broadcast. The lights were dimmed to save power. The walls hummed softly. Emily sat beside him, her hands tight around a metal cup that had long gone cold. Neither of them spoke at first. They had expected this moment, but hearing it still hurt. The council spoke of Earth like it was a failed experiment. They said humans were fragile. They said humans did not adapt fast enough. They said the galaxy would remember Earth only as a warning. When the message ended, the room felt heavier than before. James looked at the dark screen. He had grown up under Earth's blue sky. He remembered rain, trees, and the sound of the wind through open windows. Hearing strangers declare it all gone made his chest feel tight. Emily closed her eyes for a moment. She had been a medical officer during the last days on Earth. She remembered smoke, broken streets, and people helping each other even when hope was thin. Around them, the survival fleet moved in silence. The ships were old and patched together. They hid behind drifting rocks and cold stars. No bright lights. No signals. Humans had learned to stay quiet. The galaxy believed silence meant death. Humans used silence as cover. The scans shown by the council were not lies, but they were not the whole truth. Earth had been wounded deeply. Many cities were lost. Oceans boiled in places. The sky burned for weeks. But life is stubborn. Under the ash and broken ground, seeds survived. Deep underground, shelters still held people. Machines kept air moving and water clean. Humans did not vanish. They endured. On the surface, Earth looked dead. From far away, it was easy to believe. No satellites sent messages. No ships launched. The planet was left alone. That was the greatest gift the council unknowingly gave. James turned to Emily. "They believe it," he said quietly. Emily nodded. "That belief will keep them away." That night cycle, James walked through the lower decks. He passed families sleeping in narrow rooms. Children dreamed without knowing the full truth of what was said about their home. Engineers worked slowly and carefully, fixing systems with parts reused many times. Farmers tended small green spaces under artificial light. Every action was quiet and patient. On Earth, deep below the ruined surface, similar work continued. Water was filtered. Air was shared. Old solar systems still gathered weak light through broken clouds. The planet healed slowly, like a body after a great injury. No one rushed it. Humans had learned that rushing caused mistakes. Emily sent reports to other hidden ships. They did not speak of anger. They spoke of time. Time to heal. Time to grow. Time to learn. The galaxy was loud and proud. Humans chose to wait. The council updated their records. Earth was moved to a forgotten list. Trade routes were adjusted. No one planned to return. Earth was labeled a dead world. That label spread fast. Soon, no one questioned it. James remembered stories of early humans who survived ice ages and storms with simple tools and strong will. He saw the same strength now. Not loud, not proud, just steady. Weeks passed, then months. On Earth, plants broke through cracked ground. Small animals returned from shelters and hidden valleys. Rain began to fall again, gentle and slow. The sky cleared little by little. The planet breathed. Emily watched new data come in from hidden probes placed long ago. Green numbers replaced red warnings. She smiled for the first time in many days. "It's working," she said. James stood beside her. "They left us alone." "They think we are gone," Emily replied. James looked at the stars outside the small window. "Then we have time." The survival fleet did not celebrate. They did not send messages. They stayed in the shadows. Humans trained. They studied alien technology they had once traded for. They improved their ships in small but important ways. Every lesson was shared. Every mistake was remembered. On Earth, children learned history in quiet classrooms underground. They learned about mistakes made and lessons paid for dearly. They were taught patience. They were taught that survival was not just living, but choosing how to live. The galaxy moved on. New wars began. Old alliances broke. No one spoke of Earth anymore. To most, it was a closed chapter. But in the dark between stars, James and Emily watched. They listened. They prepared. Not for revenge. Not for conquest. For the day when hiding would no longer be needed. Earth had been declared extinct. That word gave human space to grow, without eyes watching. It gave Earth peace to heal without ships above its skies. In silence, humanity became something stronger than before. Not because they were angry. Not because they wanted power. But because they refused to disappear. And while the galaxy forgot Earth, Earth remembered the galaxy. Years passed, and the galaxy never looked back at Earth. Trade lanes shifted. Star maps were updated. Earth's name faded into footnotes. To the wider universe, humans were a story that ended in silence. That silence protected them. Deep beneath ruined cities, Michael stood in a wide underground hall lit by soft white lamps. The air was clean. Water flowed through clear pipes along the walls. People moved calmly, carrying tools and food. This place had once been an emergency shelter. Now it was a city. Michael had helped build it with his own hands. Jessica walked beside him, checking a small screen on her wrist. She managed food growth and energy balance. Every number mattered. Waste was not allowed. Every system had backups. Humans had learned from loss. They planned for failure before it happened. David watched over training areas where young adults practiced in low gravity. Some trained for engineering, others for medicine, others for space travel. No one trained for war alone. Survival came first. Cooperation came second. Strength followed naturally. Humans did not rebuild the old world the same way. They did not aim for tall towers or loud cities. They built deeper, quieter, and smarter. Underground cities spread across Earth like roots. They stayed hidden from the sky. Above them, forests slowly returned. Rivers changed course naturally. Animals adapted again. Earth was no longer a symbol of death. It was becoming a place of recovery. Beyond Earth, humanity reached outward carefully. Small colonies formed on harsh moons and cold planets no one else wanted. Places with weak light, thin air, or heavy storms. To the galaxy, these worlds were useless. To humans, they were classrooms. Michael visited one such colony orbiting a dim red star. The planet's surface was frozen most of a year. Winds could cut through metal. Humans built low and round structures, half buried in the ground. Power came from deep heat below the surface. Food grew in sealed rooms under artificial light. Jessica had designed many of these systems. She believed harsh worlds forced better thinking. Comfort makes people careless, she once said. Hard places teach respect. David worked with explorers who tested new engines and shields. Human ships were no longer fast and loud. They were quiet and patient. They could run for years without resupply. They could hide among rocks and dust. Their sensors saw without being seen. Years turned into decades. Children born in the shadows grew into adults who knew the truth. They were taught about the galaxy, about fear, and about mistakes made long ago. They were not taught hate. They were taught caution. Old Earth became a symbol, not of loss, but of survival. People visited it as a place of learning. Some walked the surface in protective suits, standing among broken cities now covered in green growth. They did not cry. They listened. Wind passed through cracked towers like slow music. Life moved forward. Michael once stood on a hill overlooking a rebuilt valley. He remembered images of fire and smoke from years ago. Now he saw water flowing and plants growing in careful patterns. "We didn't conquer it," he said quietly. "We stayed with it." Jessica nodded. "That's why it stayed with us." Human technology improved quietly. Materials became stronger and lighter. Medical care advanced using lessons learned during the worst days. Humans adapted their own bodies with safe changes to survive low gravity or high radiation. These changes were small and thoughtful, not extreme. Humans did not try to become something else. They refined what they were. David kept records of every colony. Each one was different. Each one taught a lesson. Mistakes were shared openly. No one hid failures. Survival depended on honesty. The galaxy remained unaware. Conflicts rose and fell among alien powers. Messages crossed space, filled with threats and pride. Humans listened but did not answer. Silence was still their shield. Old Earth's name was spoken with care among humans. It was never called a grave. Graves were places where stories ended. Earth was where lessons began. On the far edge of human space, a new colony was built near a dying star. Radiation storms swept the area often. Humans learned to predict them, to shield against them, to move when needed. Where others saw danger, humans saw a chance to grow. Michael visited the colony and watched children play in a low-gravity dome. Their laughter echoed softly. He realized these children had never seen Earth before the fall. To them, survival was normal. Care was normal. Preparation was normal. Jessica sent reports to hidden networks spread across human space. Energy use was down. Crop yield was up. Disease rates were low. Humans were not just surviving. They were improving. David trained new leaders, teaching them patience above all. "The galaxy is loud," he said often. "We don't need to be." Earth continued to heal. Oceans cooled. Weather patterns stabilized. Life returned without being forced. Humans did not rush to reclaim the surface fully. They waited for the planet to invite them back. One evening, Michael, Jessica, and David stood together in a quiet observation room deep underground. A large screen showed Earth from orbit. Blue and green were slowly returning. "They forgot us," Jessica said. David smiled slightly. "That gave us room." Michael looked at the image of their home. "One day," he said, "they will remember." Jessica asked, "And what will they see?" Michael answered after a pause. "Not ghosts. Not victims." David finished the thought. "They'll see survivors." While the galaxy forgot humanity, humanity remembered itself. In the dark, they grew steady and strong. Old Earth was no longer a scar. It was a promise. The crisis began far from Earth, near a busy stretch of space filled with many alien worlds. A chain of stars started to collapse in an unstable way. Energy storms spread without warning. Trade stations failed. Communication lines broke one by one. Entire planets faced darkness. The Galactic Council sent distress calls in every direction. Their messages were urgent and afraid. They asked for help from anyone who could hear them. Fleets were sent, but many were damaged before they could arrive. The storm did not fight like an enemy. It spread like a sickness. For a long time, no answer came. Then, a signal appeared. It did not carry a flag or a known code. It was calm and clear. It said only a few words. "We hear you." The council was confused. Their records showed no active power near the crisis zone. Earth was extinct. Humans were gone. There was no one left who could answer like this. As the signal repeated, new shapes appeared on long-range sensors. Ships moved out of the dark between stars. They were quiet, steady, and well-organized. Their designs did not match any known alien fleet. On the lead ship, John stood at the command station. His voice was calm as he gave orders. Ashley managed the fleet's movement, guiding ships through dangerous energy waves with careful timing. Daniel watched the data flow, predicting changes before they happened. The human fleet moved like a single body. Ships shielded damaged stations. Drones repaired broken relays. Medical teams prepared before being asked. They did not rush. They did not panic. Alien observers watched in shock. These ships should not exist. The council checked their old records again and again. Earth was marked dead. Humanity was listed as fragile and lost. A council ship finally opened a channel. The image shook as static cleared. An alien representative spoke, unsure and tense. "Identify yourselves." John stepped forward. He did not smile. He did not sound angry. "We are human," he said simply. "We came to help." Silence filled the channel. Ashley watched the aliens' reaction. Fear mixed with disbelief. Daniel noticed how quickly the council ships adjusted their formations, unsure whether to flee or stay. "You are declared extinct," the alien said. "We know," John replied. "That is why you didn't expect us." The crisis grew worse as they spoke. A nearby planet lost its main power grid. Millions were at risk. John did not wait for permission. He gave the order and human ships moved in. Energy shields spread across the planet's upper atmosphere. The storm pressed against them, but the shields held. Human systems adapted in real time, changing patterns instead of resisting directly. The storm slowed. Ashley coordinated rescue teams. Small human ships entered damaged cities, guiding evacuations with simple lights and clear signals. No weapons were shown. No threats were made. Daniel sent repair codes to alien engineers, helping them stabilize failing reactors. He shared everything openly. No secrets. No demands. Alien crews watched humans work with steady focus. These were not the weak beings described in old reports. These were not angry survivors seeking revenge. On one damaged station, an alien medic asked a human doctor why they came. The human answered while treating the wounded, "Because you asked for help." Across the crisis zone, the storm was slowly pushed back. Not destroyed, but guided away from inhabited systems. Humans did not fight it head-on. They redirected energy, letting space calm itself. The council called another meeting. This time, their voices were careful. "You could have ignored us," one member said. "You could have watched us fail." John looked at the image of burning stars behind them. "We remember what it's like to be left alone," he said. "We chose a different answer." Ashley stood beside him. She thought of Earth, once quiet and broken, given time to heal because others stayed away. She understood the weight of that choice. Daniel shared full data records of human technology used during the rescue. The council was stunned. Humans were not just advanced. They were prepared for disaster. They had planned for chaos. As the crisis faded, alien worlds began to recover. Lights returned. Communication lines reopened. Lives were saved. Only then did fear return, softer but deeper. What did it mean that humans still lived? What did it mean that they were this capable? An alien commander finally asked the question many feared. "Why show yourselves now?" John answered honestly. "Because hiding no longer protects anyone." Human fleets stayed until the danger fully passed. They helped rebuild damaged systems. They shared food, medicine, and knowledge. They asked for nothing in return. When the work was done, the human ships did not take control. They prepared to leave. The council hesitated. Pride bent under truth. Slowly, one by one, council members lowered themselves in a gesture of respect. Not submission, but acknowledgement. "We were wrong," one said. "About Earth. About humans." John accepted the words without celebration. "Mistakes happen," he said. "What matters is what comes next." As the human fleet turned back toward the dark, Ashley looked at the stars ahead. "They'll remember us now," she said. Daniel nodded. "Yes, but not as monsters." John watched the fading crisis zone on the screen. "Let them remember us as help," he said. Behind them, alien worlds whispered a new truth across the stars. Earth was not dead. Humanity had returned, not with fire, but with open hands. The council chamber had never been so quiet. The wide room was built to impress, with high walls and floating lights, but now it felt small. Representatives from many worlds watched the center platform in silence. Lauren and Emily stood there together. They did not wear armor. They did not bring weapons. Their clothes were simple and clean. They stood straight, calm, and unafraid. To many in the room, they looked too ordinary to change history. But they had. Lauren stepped forward first. Her voice was steady, even though many eyes watched her closely. "We are here," she said, "because the truth was buried." A low murmur spread through the chamber. The Galactic Council had ruled for centuries. They were not used to being questioned. Emily activated a small device. A large image appeared in the air above them. It showed Earth from space. Not the old image of ash and fire, but a new one. Blue oceans, green land, clouds moving slowly. Gasps echoed through the room. "This is impossible," one council member said. "Our records are incomplete," Lauren said calmly. Emily changed the image. Now the council saw old scans, the ones used to declare Earth extinct. Burned cities, broken continents, silence. Then new data appeared beside them. Underground cities, power readings, life signs that had always been there, hidden deep below the surface. "You stopped looking," Emily said. "You assumed silence meant death." The council members shifted uneasily. Some avoided the images. Others stared, unable to look away. Lauren continued. "We lost much. Millions of lives. Entire cities. Families. History. But we did not disappear." She showed records of human shelters, survival fleets, and quiet colonies beyond Earth. Each image was dated. Each one proved that humanity had lived through the worst days alone. "You labeled us weak," Lauren said. "You believed we could not endure." A council member stood suddenly. "Your species hid," they said. "You deceived the galaxy." Emily looked at them without anger. "We stayed quiet because being seen meant being erased," she said. "We had already learned that lesson." The room fell silent again. Emily showed medical records, recovery plans, and rebuilding efforts. Humans sharing food when supplies were low. Engineers fixing systems without sleep. Children being taught hope instead of fear. "We rebuilt slowly," Emily said. "Not to impress anyone. Only to survive." Lauren showed another image. Alien distress signals. The recent crisis. Human fleets arriving without warning. Human ships shielding alien worlds. Humans offering help without demands. "We could have stayed hidden," Lauren said. "We could have watched from the dark. We did not." The council watched their own distress messages being answered by humans they believed were long dead. The shame in the room was thick. One elder council member spoke softly. "Why did you not return with anger?" Emily answered before Lauren could. "Because anger burns what little you have left," she said. "We already lived through enough fire." Lauren nodded. "Mercy was not weakness," she added. "It was a choice." The council requested private records from the time Earth was declared extinct. Lauren granted access. Old decisions appeared on the chamber screens. Short meetings, rushed votes, limited scans. Mistakes became clear. One council member lowered their head. "We were afraid of your world," they admitted. "A death world. Too dangerous. Too costly to save." Emily did not raise her voice. "Fear explains mistakes," she said. "It does not erase them." The words stayed in the air. Slowly, the tone of the room changed. Fear turned into something else. Respect, mixed with regret. Another council member asked, "What does humanity want now?" Lauren took a breath. "Truth," she said. "Accurate records. No more lies. No more silence forced by fear." Emily added, "And understanding. We do not seek control. We seek fairness." The council debated quietly among themselves. Their voices were low. The galaxy was watching this meeting through delayed broadcasts. History was being rewritten in real time. Finally, the council leaders spoke. "The records will be corrected," they said. "Earth will be restored to active status." Lauren nodded once. "Humanity will no longer be listed as extinct," the leader continued, "nor as weak." Emily relaxed her shoulders slightly, though her eyes stayed sharp. "But this changes many things," the leader said. "Other worlds will ask questions." "They should," Lauren replied. The council chamber lights dimmed slightly as a formal update spread across the galaxy. Old records faded. New ones appeared. Earth survived. Humanity endured. Status active. Some council members stood. Slowly, they bowed their heads. Not in surrender, but in recognition. Emily felt a quiet weight lift from her chest. She thought of Earth's skies clearing, of children laughing underground, of years spent waiting in silence. Lauren looked around the chamber. "We are not here to judge," she said. "We are here to be seen." The council leader met her eyes.
"You have been," they said.
As Lauren and Emily left the platform, whispers followed them. Not of fear this time, but of respect. The galaxy had believed a lie for years. Now it faced the truth. Humanity had suffered. Humanity had waited. And when the time came, humanity chose mercy. That truth could no longer be hidden. The council chamber was full again, but this time the feeling was different. There was no shouting, no prideful speeches, only quiet movement and heavy thought. The truth had already spread across the galaxy. Worlds far away listened through delayed signals. No one interrupted. At the center of the chamber, the final record update waited to be confirmed. Earth was no longer listed as extinct. James watched from a distant human station orbiting far from the council's world. A large screen showed the chamber clearly. He stood with his hands behind his back, calm and still. Around him, other humans stood quietly. No one cheered. No one spoke. James remembered the day Earth was declared dead. He remembered the silence that followed. Now, the same silence filled the room again, but it felt different. This silence carried weight. The council leaders stood slowly. Their voice echoed through the chamber. The records were wrong, they said. Earth did not fall. Humanity did not vanish. One by one, council members lowered themselves. Not all at once. Some hesitated. Some struggled. But eventually they knelt. Across the galaxy, that image spread. The Galactic Council, which had ruled with distance and certainty for centuries, knelt in acknowledgement. They did not kneel in fear. They knelt in recognition. James closed his eyes for a moment. He thought of Earth's oceans cooling, of green plants pushing through broken stone, of children learning under soft lights underground. Earth had not demanded this moment. It had earned it by surviving. The council leader continued, their voice quieter now. Earth is no longer recorded as extinct, they said. It is recorded as resilient. The word carried more meaning than any title of power. The record update moved through every major system. Star maps changed. History archives corrected themselves. Schools across alien worlds received new lessons. Earth was no longer a warning of weakness. It became proof of endurance. James watched Earth appear on the screen beside the council chamber. A living world, blue and green, scarred but healing. No weapon circled it. No fleets guarded it loudly. It did not need that. Emily stood beside James now. She looked tired, but peaceful. They finally see it, she said. They see part of it, James replied. That's enough. Across human space, quiet messages spread. Colonies paused their work to watch. Engineers stopped repairs. Farmers rested their tools. For a brief moment, humanity stood still together. Not in celebration, in acknowledgement. The council leader spoke again. Humanity, they said, you were abandoned by fear and silence. Yet you returned with mercy. Images followed. Human ships shielding alien worlds. Human medics treating strangers. Human engineers sharing knowledge freely. You did not come as conquerors, the leader continued. You came as guardians. The word traveled fast. Guardian. James felt the weight of it, but not as a burden. As a responsibility. Earth did not rise to rule. It rose to protect balance. To remind the galaxy that strength did not always roar. The council formally requested Earth's presence in future decisions. James listened as the message reached human command. The answer was calm and measured. Humanity would participate, not dominate, not withdraw. Stand present. Earth's role was not to lead the galaxy by force. It was to steady it when fear took hold. As the council meeting ended, the kneeling members rose slowly. Their posture had changed. Pride was still there, but tempered. They understood something had shifted forever. The galaxy could no longer ignore Earth. James turned away from the screen and walked toward the observation window. Earth filled the view beyond, distant but clear. Clouds moved gently across its surface. Sunlight touched the oceans just right. Earth had waited. It had waited through fire, through loss, through silence. It had waited while others looked away. Emily joined James at the window. "Do you think they'll fear us again?" she asked. James considered the question. "Some will," he said. "Fear takes time to fade." "And others?" she asked.
"They'll learn," he said.
"Like we did." Messages arrived from across the stars. Not demands. Not threats. Questions. Requests.
Curiosity.
Earth did not answer all at once. It answered slowly, carefully. Humanity remembered the cost of rushing. Children on Earth's surface now walked under open skies in safe zones. They learned the story not as a tale of revenge, but of patience. They were taught that Earth did not strike back. It stood back, grew stronger, and waited for the right moment to step forward. James received a final message from the council before the channel closed. "History has been rewritten," the council leader said. "Because of you." James replied simply. "History rewrote itself," he said. "We just survived long enough to see it." As the signal faded, Earth continued its quiet rotation. No flags were planted. No victory songs played. Across the stars, a new truth spread, slower but deeper than fear ever had. Earth did not die. Earth waited. And when it returned, it did not demand the galaxy kneel. The galaxy chose to.